to you, matey. Okay, so Right, okay, so here we are, myself, the Bingley Wheeler, and Gazza, VFR Mitch, and we're on a little side road by a lovely little rocky river and bridge somewhere near the village of Dent, which is either in Cumbria or North Yorkshire, or in half of one and half of the other, who knows. But basically the plan today was to celebrate almost precisely 1 year of ownership of these Royal Enfield Interceptors. I've had mine just over a year, Gaz has had his just under a year, and both bikes are in this coming week for their annual service. So as you can see, mine's the Chrome Mark II version, chrome and red. Gaz's is the Baker Express colour scheme, and there are one or two subtle differences. I have the Lex Tech exhausts on, and Gaz's got the Tech Bike Parts exhausts on, which are a little bit louder than mine, I think it's fair to say. But other than that, the bikes are very, very similar. Things like replacement CNC brake levers, clutch levers, and crash bars, whatnot, bits and bats. Yeah, so both bikes are pretty much the same. The only difference in terms of performance will derive from the fact that Gaz has fitted the Fuel-X unit to his bike. So we're going to swap at some point and see if there's any noticeable difference in terms of performance, because if he finds my bike sluggish and I find that his bike's like Panigale, then we'll know there's a certain amount of wisdom in fitting that device if you're interested. What we do know from the ride that we did up to Middlesbrough and back down the North East Coast a few weeks ago is that the fitting of that device makes absolutely no difference to fuel economy, to performance. Virtually identical on both bikes. So that'll be the plan. I think it's fair to say we're both highly delighted with these bikes. They represent a departure from what we've been used to previously. We both had Honda Cross Tourer, VFR 1200X Cross Tourers prior to these Interceptors. A very, very different creature indeed. But you get to a certain time of life, don't you, where the appeal of retro-styled bikes comes into its own, and B, gravity and weight, mass, and your ability to cope with it comes into its own. So these bikes are, they're not super light, but they're very, very manageable. So far so good. They've been uber reliable. I hope I'm not tempting fate, because my engine light's been on since we set off, but touch wood, bike's been performing faultlessly. So they've been excellent. I've got, I'm just coming up to 3,000 miles on my bike. And what you got, Gaz?
I'm on about 2,400.
So Gaz is on about 2,400. So not entirely dissimilar mileages, and it's fair to say neither of us have had any issues of concern. Bags and bags of smiles per mile on these bikes. Very reasonable capital outlay. You can pick them up for 6.5 grand, give or take. Cheap insurance for the most part. My insurance on this Interceptor is 90 quid a year, which I reckon's pretty good. Fuel economy is pretty good. What do we think we're getting? 70 to 80?
70 to 80, definitely.
70 to 80 miles per gallon. And it's 13.7 litre fuel tank on the Interceptors, a little bit bigger than the Continental GT. So you should be looking at a safe 150 miles to the tank. If you push it, I think we've agreed that if you were so minded, you might be able to squeeze 200 out of the tank on these bikes. So they're economical, they're frugal, they're cheap to run, they're cheap to insure, they're reliable, they look the business, and they deliver very rewarding motorcycling, particularly around roads like this where the bikes really are in their setting. So yeah, beautiful little spot this. If you're up this neck of the woods, you just basically need to head up to Devil's Bridge at Kirby Lonsdale, well-known bike gathering point, and just follow your nose there, follow the signs for Dent, and you'll be able to experience some of these fantastic roads that we've been riding today. So, else have any pearls of wisdom from you, matey, regarding your bike?
No, I think that's it. The only thing with them is you've keep them clean, basically. Wash them, protect them.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, touch wood, being bulletproof so far.
Polish them engine casings. Either that or get one of the new ones with the black engine casings if you're not into polishing, because they do take a fair bit of polishing. And as Gaz has said, the more protective coatings you can put on, particularly as we go into autumn and winter, the better for your bike, without a shadow of a doubt. For those of you who don't know, Gaz has got another Royal Enfield. It's a Himalayan. and I've got a Royal Enfield Classic 350 as well, and those two are both absolutely cracking bikes. Different bikes, different functions really, but equally enjoyable, equally reliable, equally affordable. And I think that's about it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to swap over just for a short period, and we'll see if there's any noticeable difference between the performance of the two bikes, given that Gaz has got this here Fuel-X Boxer Tricks in his bike. So let's see how we crack on. So here I am on Gaz's bike with the Fuel-X fitted and the Tech Bike parts. Exhaust cans. And already I'm feeling it has the edge on mine. Yeah, it's just got that, I mean, it's not a massive difference, but it's just got that little bit of extra, shall we say, willingness. It's got an edge that my bike doesn't have. I'd love to try one with the 850 Rebo kit, just to see how much difference that makes. It should be substantial, but certainly fitting this Fuel-X. So I reckon if you fit the DNA Stage 2 filter, which I do have fitted to my bike, a decent set of exhausts, and the Fuel-X, you've got yourself a very, very capable bike. If you like a bit of shove, and who don't like a bit of shove? Yes, there is an edge. Now, we can't say definitively, can we, that that's entirely down to the Fuel-X or the different exhausts, because as we all know, you can get two identical bikes and for whatever circumstances may apply, can feel very different in terms of the performance. But I suspect that the edge that this machine has over my Interceptor is down to that Fuel-X kit. If we apply the law of Occam's razor, it is the simplest and therefore the most likely explanation. And those Tech Bike Park cans are a proper shouty. Just listen to that. Yeah, it's got the edge on mine. There's absolutely no question about that. Sort of. I haven't been looking, to be honest, but it feels like that edge comes in at about 4,000 RPM. It just has a little bit more shove at 4,000 RPM. So whatever the Fuel-X does, it influences to a certain degree the mid-range mapping. Don't ask me how, but that's what it feels like. But otherwise, obviously, very, very familiar. Like a pair of old slippers. You know, because Swedy's got wider bars on than me. Just feel a little bit different. Wonder if they're in a slightly different position, because there is some adjustability, obviously. Are they? Right. So Gaz has just told me in my lug hole now, you know, I must get this system wired up for two-way conversation so you can hear both sides of the discussion. He's just told me they are raised up. Of course they are. He's got the risers on, that's what it is. I've forgotten about that. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be putting risers on mine because this is a lot more comfortable than mine. Look at this here countryside as we climb up here. Where would you rather be on a Sunday? Oh, Morgan. Nice colour too. Yeah, these risers, mate, are the bee's knees. Right, I'm going to have to get myself... Didn't you have a load of grief putting them, you know, with cables? How did you lengthen them? Did you... I can't remember. Did you just undo ties? So, right. So he's just telling me basically to put these risers on here. You're going to need a new, a longer throttle cable. And some others. It's not quite so appealing now. If I could get somebody to do it for me. This is way more comfortable than my bike, this riding position. No question. And the bars are the same, but it makes them feel wider. And therefore you feel that you have a little bit more influence over the trajectory of the bike, particularly when you're on these tight twisties here. Right. Are these the scooter boys or the off-road boys? Scooter boys. Where we going, mate? Ingleton or Hawes? Alright, we'll drop back to Ingleton then. Hawes will be absolutely heaving today. I bet you're finding that really uncomfortable, aren't you, mate, with them bars? Right, there's obviously a speed trap down here somewhere, thank you, sir. Yeah, what a difference there be. So yeah, the fuel X definitely gives it a nuanced edge in the mid-range at around about 4,000 RPM. That's how it feels to me. But the biggest difference on this here bike to mine is the riding position. And what these bar raisers have done in effect is allowed me now to adopt a sort of sit up and beg, you know, like a dog begging position. And it's a lot more comfortable. I've got quite bad arthritis in my shoulders, and on my Interceptor, after a while, that can start to play up in a way that it doesn't on the Classic 350. It does on the Pan-European, because the Pan-European bars seem to be a very similar position to my Interceptor without the risers on. But these have made the whole riding experience a lot more pleasurable, a lot more comfortable for me. It may not be the same for you. 6'4" myself, and Gaz are pretty tall. I'm 6'1". I think Gaz is, are you 6'4", something like that. Look at that, there's the Ribblehead Viaduct. Yes, yeah. It's got some more. Right then, hope that was of some interest to you. Just a little blast around parts of Cumbria and North Yorkshire on the Interceptors, giving you our collective experience of the bikes after 12 months of ownership. And if you did enjoy this, please click a like, please click subscribe, please hit that notifications bell, and if you're feeling generous, give us a little tip via the thanks button. So yeah, that's it for today. Until the next time, ride safe, be kind, and I'll catch you soon. Toodle pip.